The search for a center for Syracuse basketball continues in the transfer portal, and we go straight to the source of the most likely candidate to fill that spot. It's your Locked On Syracuse Wednesday. Let's get right to it.
Are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? What's happening? Welcome into your Locked On Syracuse Wednesday episode. Owen Valentine here saying thank you so much for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen today and every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, free and available wherever you get podcasts. It's a big episode, and big is a little bit of a hint as to what this might mean. Syracuse is looking to replace Jesse Edwards. And there is one man that seems like the most likely fit at this point in time, fresh off of an official visit to Syracuse. It is Florida State transfer Naheem McLeod joining the show today. So without further ado, let's get right to it. We are now joined on your Locked On Syracuse Wednesday episode by a man who has never lost a game in the Dome and a man who is 20 inches taller than I am. It is Naheem McLeod, the transfer from Florida State, just visited Syracuse this past weekend. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I want to start by talking about the question that I think most people in Syracuse have, just keeping it broad to get going here. How did everything go visiting Cuse this past weekend?
Syracuse was great. Welcoming me with open arms. A lot of the guys I already knew from playing against them at Florida State. And, just the camaraderie of the team and the environment was well.
Who are those guys mainly that have stuck out the most in terms of, you playing against Syracuse or Florida State and just from what you know about the team already?
So I was around Quader Copeland a lot. He's from Philadelphia as well. Benny Williams and Chris Bell also, hung out with me a lot. And Justin Taylor as well. So I knew all those guys.
Pretty big chunk of the team at this point that you seem familiar with at this point in time. And I read online that you had a bit of a run-in with Syracuse's departing center and Jesse Edwards while you were on campus. So how'd that interaction go?
I saw Jesse. I got to my hotel and I went out later that night to go hang out with the guys. And Jesse was the first person I saw. So I went up to him, said what's up, gave him a hug, questioned him about some things about Syracuse. And then he told me whatever I need, he got it. And, if I ever need anything coming to Syracuse, it was just let him know. So it was cool. It was cool learning from Jesse.
Now I got to ask, you put up 16 and 8 against Jesse. Did you bring that up at all when you were talking to him?
Nah. I mean, they won the game, but if we won the game, it'd have been different. But they won the game, so I had to hold it in.
All right. How does seeing what happened with Jesse in his career at Syracuse, going from a guy averaging a couple of points a game to a guy that was putting up 10 to 20 points a night by the time he departed? How did seeing sort of that progression happen? How does that play into your factor and sort of what you think Syracuse could do with you if you were to end up here?
So obviously playing against Jesse my freshman year, and then playing against him last year, he's got increasingly better. And I knew that he was a kid that liked to work hard and, there wasn't wonder from work. So, just the humbleness of him taking time out of his day to go work out and develop his game, I think I could do the same thing. So it's not really that much of a factor for me because I know that's all about work at the end of the day.
In the conversations that you had on campus with the coaching staff and with players, sort of how do they see you fitting in and what kind of role is expected of you heading into what could be possibly a career at Syracuse, depending on what happens in the next coming weeks?
So Talks was about having a guy like me in the middle to be dominant, to play alongside Chris Bell, Benny Williams, Chance Westry, J.J. Starlins. Those guys coming in, guys already there. So I'm already familiar with everybody that I just named because just playing against them all of my career in high school and even in college now. So just that the aggressiveness that I'm going to bring to the team and the factor that I'm going to be is just going to be well for them to play off me and not for me to play off them as well.
What do you think is the strongest part of your game? Where are you the most dominant in terms of what you can do on any given day?
I think it's just me being a presence on both ends. On defense, you got to look at a 7'4" guy like, do I want to go in there and try to shoot over him? And then on offense, most people think I just can catch lobs, and I don't know. I mean, I can do a little bit of everything, so it's not like I'm only just like a lob catcher. So it's just like I feel like I do a lot of things well. So
Definitely. I mean, I've been watching the tape, and you said you were ready to call me out for some things. I know you watched the episode the other day. You said you'd let me know if I got anything wrong. So what did I get wrong in terms of you as a player in that episode from the other day?
so you were talking about like upgrades from Jesse Edwards, and then you were like Hunter Dickinson is upgrade. Uh, threw out a Musa Cisse an upgrade, and then you was like everybody else. I think they're a little bit below Jesse, and I look, and I was watching the tape, and I just started laughing, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna have to prove it. So it was just like, obviously, I know both of those guys I just named. Hunter, I played Hunter last summer. We had a private scrimmage versus Michigan, and he didn't do too well against me. Struggled scoring over my length, and I think they beat us by like 3 because all the walk-ons played at the end. But if we would have, just played 2 half, we'd have beat them by like 15. And then Musa Cisse, I think he's just like similar to me as far as athletic block shots and just can run the floor. And I think that all of us are mature veterans by now, and that was just like something that piqued my interest when you said that just a little bit under Jesse, and I was like, okay, I see how some people think now. So it was just it hit me, and I was like, okay, I see where you're coming from.
I meant by no means did I mean to any disrespect that way. I was just throwing it out there, looking at because we as a Syracuse community, as the fan base, we're looking for, and everything is sort of in that perspective of what can we do to replace Jesse on his way out. Uh, you got me on that one, but I'm excited to see if this could come to possibilities. What would happen with you in Central New York? What was the conversation like with Coach Autry? Like, what are your thoughts on him? We're all a part of this transition, trying to piece together like what this new era of Syracuse basketball is. So, how was it conversing with him, and sort of what were those conversations like?
Coach Autry is a great guy. Ever since I stepped foot on campus, he's been keeping it real with me, calls me every day, um, tells me how he thinking, what do you think I can be a part of this team, and like even like when I was at Syracuse, we had a little film session of, the things that they're going to do different from last year, and how they're missing a guy like me to be dominant in the middle, to replace Jesse Edwards, and I was just like, man, like I've rarely had coaches that were just brutally honest like Coach Autry, and like his vibe off the court is just like you just love him. You gotta love him, and like you just never have anything bad to say about him. So I think it was just a connection that that just meant to be. So hopefully I told him I'll make a decision soon, and hopefully be a Syracuse Orange.
If you're looking for a delicious snack but don't want all the sugar and calories, then you need the best tasting protein bar ever. It's built, you got to try this. If you're like me, maybe you want to slim down a little bit, find a healthier snack choice, but you don't want to compromise on taste. I've got just the thing for you. Built bars and built puffs. Built bars, they're healthy, they taste amazing. Seriously, they're so good, you won't think they're good for you. What makes Built Bars so good? For starters, they're covered in 100% real dark chocolate. That's not a joke. It's real chocolate, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors. It's churro, my favorite right here, the peanut butter brownie, and of course, cookies and cream. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is they're healthy, 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering Built bars at built.com. But now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. Well, you can still get those specialty flavors at built.com. So head to your nearest Walmart, head to your nearest Sam's Club, or head over to built.com, and then you can thank me later. That will be fun. I think that's what everyone watching here is hoping for. When we look at sort of any transfer, like what are some of the biggest things that you're factoring into this decision? What are the biggest components that you're looking for in your next landing spot?
Definitely a group of guys that I can play with, whether that's them being athletic or for them to spread the floor out for me so I can work. Um, a good team, like just vibing on the court, off the court. We all get along, and really just the humbleness of the team, whether that's us sticking together throughout toughness of the season or not going our separate ways. So it's just really gonna be helpful.
When you look at this style of play that's sort of been advertised for Syracuse, and it seems like they want to get out and run in this new coaching staff or this transition coaching staff, they want to get out and run, they want to move. How do you think that works with your game, and how do you feel in a style that wants to get out and move like that?
I've always been able to run the floor, play at a fast tempo. So like you said, like the style of play is just it's gonna help us together. Because the guards that they're bringing in, like to play fast and get up and down the court. So not just like we're running to spots where we have to be. So it's gonna be a camaraderie of just getting out there and working.
I mean, you're a Northeast guy, Philly guy. What was like your first, I guess, interaction with Syracuse, or your first, I guess, awareness of Syracuse? Like, when did you first hear about them?
Um, I I first heard about Syracuse a long time ago,
Okay.
from the Mellow days, and then like I really haven't paid it too much of mine. And then when I got to high school, they started reaching out, but it was kind of late because I already chose Florida State. And then I knew Syracuse was in the conference, and they had the Big East. They was in the Big East before coming to the ACC, and then I knew that when they were in the conference, I would have to play against them. And then I wasn't familiar with the type of zone that they played until their scouting report came up. So it was just like, man, this is a lot. So it was.
Yeah, you mentioned they were late coming around the first time. I believe I read they were the second team to reach out this time around. So
Right.
it seems like being able to get there early, as we've seen time and time again, can go a long way in terms of developing these relations. What does it mean that, like, maybe Syracuse might realize that they learned from their mistake getting there too late the first time around, and wanted to make sure that they were there immediately when they heard that you were available in the transfer portal?
Yeah. Like some of um some of my best games in college was against Syracuse. Uh, like my freshman year, I just remember playing against Jesse Edwards, and I was like, they were like, you can't score over him. You gotta. He likes to jump, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to get him. So I tried to dunk on him, but him and Chris Bell met me at the rim, and I was like, man, maybe that is true. He likes to jump a lot. So ever since then, he would just step up, and I was like, you know what? I got to get him back. So, it's sad to see him that he's going to West Virginia. I was putting him on my list of, people I had to dunk on. So it's like, man.
I believe I remember you had a good little putback dunk in the freshman year game where you played Syracuse, and then it was your best game of the year this past season
Yeah.
when you played Syracuse, putting up a 16-8. So it seemed like in that game, as you mentioned, maybe you got the better of Jesse possibly, but the outcome not necessarily in the same boat with that. When you sort of look at your basketball career and with a couple of years of eligibility left and you're in the portal looking for that next spot, what sort of legacy do you want to have when it is time for you to leave this next spot, whenever that time might be?
um Type of legacy,
Yes.
man. Type of legacy I want to leave is definitely an impacting one around the community. Guy that get along with everybody. On the court, just a hard worker. Just a hard worker, come in, win. Hopefully, get to the big dance and win a couple games, national championship, Final Four. Just to be successful is really all I need to do.
What is Naheem McLeod like outside of basketball? What else do you do? What else are you into? Or is it all basketball all the time?
Off the court, I'm a calm, cool, collective guy. Don't say too much. Um, you'll definitely see me. I'm 7'4", hard to miss. Like to give back to the community, whether that's feeding the homeless or just hanging out with kids, trying to shoot hoops with them, stuff like that. Like it's just I try to be a positive vibe and just give back to people who's unfortunate don't have anything.
We love to hear that. Plenty of spots to get involved around Syracuse for sure, as we've seen many players do over the last few years and well before that. When you sort of take a look at what's left, right? You've got Mississippi State tomorrow, right? That visit starts.
Yeah,
So what are you looking for? Like, is there something that you feel like is a missing piece at this point, or are you just testing the waters because you never know what happens?
yeah, definitely just testing the waters. You never know what happens. Tomorrow I'm just looking for the film session that we having. See how they play. I watched them once this year. They were in the tournament versus Pitt, and I was just like, they lost that game, and I was just like, how well do they play through their bigs, and how much did this team like to, defend, get out, and transition, run, so stuff like that, just a little things. That's all I'm looking for.
When you look at that transition out of the ACC compared to a transition within the ACC, like how does that play into anything? Is that a huge factor to be able to stay consistently in the ACC and with what you're a little bit more familiar with, or is that not something that looms all too large into this decision?
At first I was just like, man, like I just want to stay in the ACC, show Florida State what they missed out on. Just come in wherever I was going, because at first I had a lot of ACC schools reaching out, still do, but like it was a good amount, and I was just like, man, like if I stayed in the ACC, I'm familiar with the competition, the teams, how teams play. But then like other schools and different conferences was calling out. Like I'm not really too sure about it. So
When this all is said and done, right, and we wrap this interview up in a second here, what is sort of the departing message for now to the Syracuse fan base? Is there anything specific you'd want to say to them, or any other sort of closing thoughts at this point?
um, all all I want to say is Syracuse has the best support system in the country. I post something, Syracuse has flooded my comments, flooded my DMs. So it's just like, I see how bad, people want me to be a Syracuse Orange.
Syracuse Twitter and Syracuse social medias are very much they'll be up in your face about everything. They'll be ready to interact with every tweet that you put the color orange in until decision day comes. I'll tell you that much, because they've done with so many players in the past. Do you have any idea in terms of timetable? Is Mississippi State the last of the visits? Is there more that could happen down the road? Do you have any idea when you might be making this decision?
I'm not sure if Mississippi State's the last one, but I'm definitely leaning towards the next 2 weeks of making a decision.
Awesome. We're excited to see what happens. Anything else you want to add? The floor is yours here. Did I miss anything when I talked about you the other day? Did I not ask you something that you wanted to hear about? Is there anything more that you care to throw in here before we call it a day?
No, I think you pretty much nailed everything on the head. I think as far as, my game and how, I'm going to be used in Syracuse, it's just, I think it's destined to be. So I think you really got everything, and, go Orange, man. Go Orange.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming on. We wish you the best of luck, whatever decision you do end up making. But obviously, we'd love to see you in Central New York once again with a Syracuse jersey on. Continue your undefeated streak in the Dome with the right colors on this time around.
Got you.
All right, that'll do it for your Wednesday episode of Locked On Syracuse. Another thank you to Naheem McLeod for joining the show. It sounds like he's interested in Syracuse, which I think is a big sign. The interest level seems like it's there. The conversations with coaches, the way he spoke about Autry, the little go orange at the end. It seems like the signs are pointing in the right direction, but only time will tell. Said probably about 2 weeks until we get to decision time. But until then, we play the waiting game. We sit and watch how things go at Mississippi State. And we see if there's another scheduled visit on the docket there or not. Either way, a thank you to him. That'll do it for our Wednesday episode. I will catch you again tomorrow with a little bit more. Not exactly sure where we will fall on our Thursday episode just yet. But until then, be kind, make somebody smile today, and have a great day. I'm Owen Valentine. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.